Hi, I'm Jason Lee. I teach AP Computer Science A and USACO Competition Grade Coding and AP Statistics in Makers. I'll talk to you about my winter program, this 2020 to 2021. All right, so the most important thing for you to be focusing on right now, if you are planning to take the test on the coming May, regardless of whether you took the summer course or not, I assume that you have had some experience from the summer or at least before you join in for the winter. And I also assume that you are planning to take the test, right? So if that is your goal, that's your plan, then this is an essential course because the hardest thing about this exam is writing your FRQ responses. So FRQ responses is a little bit different from what you're thinking. You have to use the IDE. So far used the IDE mostly when you're learning the Java language, right? But you cannot use the IDE. Your computer is totally off limits. You're going to write your response in a handwritten pencil and paper response. So you have to know the language. You have to be able to write code from scratch without the help of an IDE. So you need to be really conversant with the algorithms and writing of the Java language. And that's one of the reasons why FRQ is kind of hard, harder than you think. Also, there's a specific style that is not really similar to what you do when you use the language to, for example, when you create apps. You're free to look up responses, library references in the web. There's a plethora of things you could use as a resource material. But for the test taking, it focuses on algorithms. So it actually gives you a problem and wants you to solve the problem in a certain way. And that, how to solve a certain problem in a certain way is what is called an algorithm, right? So you need to focus on an algorithm-based approach on a particular problem set that is really popular in the FRQ, and that is one of the most important things you have to cover at least by the winter. And this lecture focuses on that. I assume that you have nominal Java experience, meaning that you're not really new to programming at all. If that's the case, you might find this course a little bit hard. But if that is actually you're forced to do this because your school doesn't offer AP Computer Science and you haven't taken the base level AP or just regular computer science, and you have no Java experience whatsoever, but your mom is making you take the test this May, well, have no fear because you can take a very introductory level course that takes about 10 to 20 hours. I have one available in the Master Prep, so take the Computer Science CS 101 course, and that'll prepare you almost fully, more than prepare you for this course. Basically, all you need are the language constructs like control structures, if, for loops, and whatnot, and writing methods. And if that sounds familiar, then that's fine. You can just come in and join as you are. All right, so that's what I require of you. And also, I did say what I'm going to cover about the FRQs, and that's about it. The third thing that you see here is facing international tests. You know that AP has international version and the domestic version, right? Actually, 3 domestic versions depending on time zone and 1 international version. International versions are reputedly a little bit harder than the domestic version, which are released. So even if you build your experience on the ones that are released, you might find the actual test a little bit harder if you're taking a test in Korea or China or Japan or in the Asiatic region. Just a rumor, but I have substantiation from my students in the prior years. So just something more if you want to think about it. Now, the next part is, the timetable, of course. This one assumes what I said I would assume, but this one is going to start up not from scratch, but this will cover the basic material, like the syntax structure you need to know, the method writing and classes and everything. But it's going to focus on how to apply that knowledge in an algorithmic way. It sounds like the magic word, right? Algorithms, but it's actually not. Algorithm is just formularizing how you solve problems. So once you formularize an algorithm, you can apply to multiple different problems. So that's what you're going to learn and how to do. So you're going to see a lot of different existing FRQs, problems that are engineered to look similar, to test you on similar scenarios as those FRQs. in these 2 weeks. And then this is just going to focus on more and more experience on FRQs. So you'll be an expert at writing methods that are required, well, very similar to what the actual test will require of you. All right, so that's kind of clear, I guess. All right, next on to USACO. So USACO is a math has a similar competition called AMC. USACO sounds like it's like on the same level as USAMO. Maybe it is for some people, but I find that it's slightly easier than that. I personally think that it's on the same level in difficulty as AMC 10 or 12 mostly. But it's kind of different because you have a computer, finally, and then you can use that computer to write a solution for a certain problem that they'll present you. If you haven't done USACO competitions before, this is what you need to know. You can use any of the languages. It's an algorithmic competition, not a language competition, so you don't need to focus on any of the languages. The languages are not necessarily better. One language is not necessarily better than the others. But here's the statistics. Out of 100 people who might take the USACO competition at any given time, roughly 60 to 70% use C and C++. And out of the remaining 40, 30% use Java, and the others are split between Pascal and Python. People may not even have heard of what Pascal is. It's a very old language, somewhere that originated somewhere around when Fortran was born. Nobody uses Fortran anymore. I don't know why they keep on using Pascal, but not many people even know what Pascal is. Python is an up and running, a newcomer, but very, very versatile and very useful language when you're doing data science and machine learning. However, that is a little bit, I think the main reason why they included Python is that most people are asking why can we not use Python. But from a problem-solving perspective, Python is, I think, the least effective of the language because it's so high level. So meanwhile, it being high level means that it actually makes writing code and understanding problems easier for you and for the people who read your code. It's actually a little bit ineffective because it takes a lot of system resources to do the same thing. So that same thing applies to Java as well. Java and Python are primarily OOP-oriented languages, while C++ is OOP, but C is not. So that's why most people who value efficiency, as you should if you're competing for the USACO, then you are going to focus on C. However, again, that doesn't mean that you cannot get a platinum if you use Java. No, people have gotten platinum using any of the languages. Although most have done so using C. At a bronze and silver level, where you'll be competing in mostly if you're new, you have to go through bronze if you're new, then Java is perfectly fine. And I also use Java in my classes because mostly people come to these classes after graduating from, well, APCSA. APCSA is, you have to use Java in APCSA. So most people are actually proficient in Java. They want to extend that experience. Well, Java is your logical choice. And I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with using Java until, well, at least when you're around silver. Right? After that, things may get a little bit messy. We'll see. All right, so that's about languages. And there are 4 competitions yearly. One starts in December, and then it goes on to January, February, and so 4 times a year, right? And it's an online test, which means that you can join in Korea or anywhere in the world. You don't have to travel to the United States to participate. And this is done on a very free form basis, which means that you don't have a set time. So you don't have to sit until the competition starts, like in the middle of the night for you, because it's the midday for in the United States, like what you do in online schooling right now. So you can set your own time, and you only have to observe that once you start, you cannot stop. You cannot just pause the test and go to the bathroom and come back 30 minutes later with full of new ideas. You can't do that. Once you start, you have to finish in 4 or 5 hours. So that's the nature of it, and you can pick your own time. It's a long weekend, so you can pick your time between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And it's only 4 or 5 hours, so there's a lot of leeway in which you can prepare yourself mentally and physically too. Yeah, it's a grueling test, 4 or 5 hours. You'll want chocolate snack bars. All right, and then the last thing, the best way to approach this test is to kind of enjoy it. I mean, if you can't avoid it, enjoy it, that's what people say, right? But that especially applies to this kind of thing. If you don't enjoy it, I don't think you're going to get far. If you don't enjoy problem solving, frankly speaking. But if you do enjoy it, then you'll love it. People, your mom, your dad, your teacher won't be able to stop you from falling into this. I've seen students whose GPA have suffered because they wanted to study for this instead of studying for their GPA exams. Now, I don't want that to happen to you, but you know, I can't dictate what you do, so just take that into consideration. All right, so that's the mindset I want you to be in. Anyways, these two courses prepare you for the December test, and this is for the January test. January test is more likely. It's more likely that you'll join for that, but I find that people who join in the December and then try again in January have a higher rate of actually getting a medal. And if you are done with what most people do in Thanksgiving, like SATs and SAT2s, then you're perfectly geared for this one. So don't waste time, just join this. This is the only way you can actually prepare yourself for the December test, which is done in mid-December. It's not possible for you to start in the winter and then take the December test, only except maybe as a token gesture. Maybe if you want to just see how the test goes, then I can totally see that. But otherwise, other than that, I think you should just rely on, rely on this course for the December test and that one for the January test. Now after that, there's 2 more tests coming, but I haven't got anything ready for that because in my experience, after this, people kind of diverge into 2 groups. One group is saying, I had enough and I don't want to do this anymore. I've got better things to do. I gotta return to school and that sort of thing. Another group is that, hey, this is the best thing I've done in my life and I want to continue on to platinum and silver, gold and platinum, right? So if you're one of those groups, then you can actually fall into the one of the group courses that come after this. I'll take you as far as you can go. All right, so that's what this is about. So if you can't join in because you have other pressing concerns like GPA or SAT, that is important actually. So then you can just join in and it's perfectly fine. You can actually join in the bronze group after taking this, bronze for the first time in January, and then you can continue on to February and March, right? So that's the plan for USACO. All right, and the level of coding that you need to be in to join in, did I mention this? I kind of forget, but I'm going to say this again. You need to have a level of coding at APCSA level or higher. Higher is not necessary, but it's definitely a plus. What is higher after APCSA? What is there to study? There's something called a Data Structures and Algorithms course, which takes you further after you finish AP Computer Science A. So if you're doing AP Computer Science A, if you're done with it and then you are doing a post-APCSA intro-level course on data structures and you're doing pointers, linked lists, and tree traversal, graph theory, that kind of thing, then that's going to help you immensely with USACO. So, yep, that's all there's for me to say today. All right, so join in and have some fun. I mean, this is really fun if you are of the right mind type of mind. Yes. So if you're in the right mindset. Okay, so that's it for USACO. And now I'm going to talk a little bit on AP Statistics. Statistics is relatively tame when you study for it. So in the winter, it really doesn't matter if you have taken the summer or not. You can start in the winter and then definitely shoot for a 5. But what you got to keep in mind is that I just want you to know a couple of things that will help you study for it. The key point in AP Statistics 205 is the FRQs. FRQs is devious. I mean, you think that AP Statistics is a math course. It is technically. It is classified as a math track, but it doesn't really feel like math because I've seen students who are doing multivariable calculus, and they take AP Statistics because they think that math is only this thin compared to calculus and AP multivariable. So you have a lot less to study. But people get like 3 out of 5 if they go in with that mindset because of the FRQs. The FRQs are graded along a really weird scheme. So if you just get one single thing wrong out of the whole thing, if you don't get a perfect mark, it's really easy to slide your score to slide down to a 75% that kind of very punishing grading mark makes it almost impossible to get a perfect mark. But that means you need to push a little bit more with the MCQ. So I'll give you hints and tips on what to avoid when you want to get mostly perfect marks for at least half of your FRQ questions. That's the goal. And I'll tell you every device and knowledge and those little pearls of wisdom that you need to apply to get to that level. All right, so that's what it is. And finally, this is going to follow the normal winter program. So don't come in on Christmas or the New Year's. There's 학원's going to be closed on those days. Yeah, and don't text me I'm in the 학원 because hey, I'm not. And all right, so that's going to happen. And we're going to cover most of the theory, and then we're going to apply it to FRQs. I'll give you hints and notes on what to avoid and what to, well, put in your write-up, because it's not really writing, it's not like solving problems like in calculus. You don't get a bunch of equations and then you get the problem, right? You have to write in English. It's almost like an essay writing. All right, so that's what we're going to do on FRQ. All right, that's about it. So if you have any questions, ask the 학원, they'll ask me, and then you know what's going to happen. Or just come into the class and enjoy. All right, I'll see you in class.